Alright, this is a large panel. Let's see what we came up with. Preliminarily looking at it, it didn't look good. It looked like the mix got... I did it in 3 batch. The first 2 batches came out great. The third batch, not so much. And I think it affected the other 2 layers of the pour. I thought it would harden in 3 distinct layers. It kind of intermixed. And the top bad batch ruined the rest of it. This has been sitting about 10 days, but it's in a hot, humid climate. It is still green, which is weird. Although the edges where it's dry are hard, but here you can still take your finger and go right through it. You know, so what I'm going to do is open it up and let it dry out. It's been curing for, like I said, about 10 days now. But the edges do show promise here. So let's get it opened up and take a look. Again, this is the channeling. This is the large frame that you saw in the last video. And there it is. Probably should have had it laid flat and solid until it's dry because it just fell completely apart. Obviously. We'll be redoing this one. There's a good lesson for you. Okay, here are the other 2 panels. Triangular panels. Now I haven't gone through and relieved the edges. You see some of the foldovers, you know. I would just take the flapper wheel with the grinder and bring these all down flat and straight. But just so you get a general idea of what we're looking for here. Try to find a side that might actually work. Okay, here we go. And then we'll have, this obviously isn't set all the way down. But you'll also have a little bit of an angular locking here. Once these are trimmed to interlock completely. This is the original mix here, which I like. Pretty stiff. The bag got caught into the mix here, so it pulls out, but it does pull out very, and here is what we have. I don't know how that's focusing in, so I'm just going to go in and out here a little bit. Give it a bit of a, hopefully you get a shot on that. This is lighter. This has a cellulose in it. It was a bad mix though, and as you can see, it's not at all sturdy. So this will probably get redone with the large panel also, with the what I feel is the appropriate mix. So this being the successful one, there's nothing in here. There's no reinforcement. This is just cement. There's nothing going on in here besides the cement. But it keyed in, locked in well, dried to a nice surface area. This was, you know, and this is specific to this climate. This was obviously covered in plastic and poured flat like this. This was left basically open. I didn't even cover this with plastic, and I think that enabled it to. I left the plastic on until a couple days ago, but then I just stood these up and let them dry for an additional 4 or 5 days, so that we have this. So this is 3 weeks old, so it's not fully even now fully done, but it's this is good enough. You know, this has a good consistency for my purposes. You can still, you know, kind of crumble the outer powderize, I guess you could say, if you really try, you know, if you want to. But I mean, that's going to happen with any Aircrete. That's why you put a protective layer on top. But this one turned out really well, and this mix is 4.5 pounds of Portland. I believe it was 1.5 pounds of 20-minute E-sand and 40 ounces of water, 43 ounces of water, which is basically the 2.5 pounds. I mean, the 4.5 pounds of Portland would require about 32 or 33 ounces of water for the standard mixed slurry. Then I add another 10 ounces of water to the water to account for the 1.5 pounds of E-sand. Mixed it all, you know, I mixed the E-sand and the Portland. First mixed up the Portland, then threw in the E-sand, mixed it up, and it started getting real thick. Well, that's when I added the extra 10 ounces of water. Kind of thinned it back down. But because I had a problem with my foam machine, the mixture sat for about 5-8 minutes and slaked. So when I got the foam into it finally, 10 minutes later, it had already started to set up. So when I mixed the foam in, you slaked and then you broke it and re-mixed it in with the foam and then poured it. So that may be something that is a step that needs to happen. So we're going to do that with the large panel, and then we're going to mix it straight away without letting it set for this other small panel, which I'm going to redo. The different mixture. Like I said, this admixture was just, but it wasn't done right to begin with, so this is just too fluffy. It does only weigh, I mean, it weighs like nothing. You know, but because it has no structure whatsoever, you know, it's not good for too much. There we go. And work this right out of the mold. There it is. All right. Oh, it's pasty. Now it's a real pudding. I'm not waiting for full 5 minutes. It's going to be about 3 minutes because it's setting up pretty good. It's warm and humid out here, so you got to kind of judge it by looking at the consistency of the product. So let's get it on. This is a 20-gallon container, so fill it up all the way. About 20 ounce foam. Shaving cream, be nice and clean. Shave every morning and you'll be clean. There's an old ditty from the way back book. Oh, that's enough of that. Close enough for government work. Get them mixed in. And try to fold out those large bubbles. Oh, I just made a bunch. Alright, here we go. As you can see, that obviously was too much foam for that little bit of concrete that was left in the bottom of the container, but it's okay. We're not testing for ultimate strength and durability. This is just a sample piece. Practice makes perfect. My math did say I would need 25 pounds, not 20, but I wanted to try to see how close I can get with 20. So I know next time to do 25 pounds. So, you see all the bubbles collapsing here on that other foam. That's okay. We're not worried about it. We'll let it do its thing. Turns out how it turns out. It wasn't a full pour anyway. And that's it. Back to you, Chet.